Welcome to Crochet Dear Heart's Pumpkin Tutorial Part 2. In this part of the tutorial, you will learn how to sew your pumpkin together, how to stuff it, how to make these ridges, and then how to add all these finishing touches. So for this part of the tutorial, you're going to need your 12 rows of half double crochet. You will need some polyfill. You will need a cinnamon stick or a stick or something else that you'd like to use as the stem, some scissors, some darning needles, and some twine or something else that you'd like to use for the bow. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do in the second part of this tutorial is you're going to fasten off and then you're going to leave a really long tail. And I've got about 60 inches here. I know that seems like a lot, but we're going to need it to sew both ends and to make the ridges. So once you've snipped your 60 inches, you're just gonna pull this right all the way through. You'll also notice that you've got this end here from where you started. So what we're gonna do with that is you're just gonna weave that in. So you're gonna put that through your, you can use a bigger darning needle like this. I just find it easier with a small one, but if you have a big one, that's not a problem. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna weave it through some of the ends. Usually just go back and forth a couple of times. That's probably even fine like that. Then just straighten it out and then just snip that. Thread this darning needle and then you're gonna take the two ends and you're gonna line them up like this. There we go. So you're gonna line it up and then you're just gonna sew it together. What I do want to mention about this part is you want to try and keep it as flat as possible. So you're staying as close to the end as you can. So like for example, you don't want to go in like this. Okay, you want to stay really close to the end. Really close, that way it creates a flat seam. Now you've seamed your two ends together, we're going to weave your darning needle in and out of the bottom stitches. So you can kind of see each stitch here, there's like a little loop. So I've got my little babe here strapped to me. If you can hear her, that's what that is. So yeah, you're just weaving in and out. And you're gonna do that all the way around. All right, so now that you've woven your yarn in and out of the bottom, you're actually just gonna pull and it's gonna close the bottom of your pumpkin. So you wanna get it pretty tight. Don't pull too hard, so you don't want to snap your yarn. And then what you're going to do is you can kind of see where all the stitches have gathered. You just want to sew your darning needle through there a couple of times. Okay, so it doesn't have to look super neat if you're not really kind of going under a couple of stitches. Now this is just securing the bottom. Okay, so do it like 3 or 4 times. Until when you pull on it, that it doesn't open up anymore. Okay, so do that, and then we will move on to the next step. Now that your bottom is nice and secure, you're gonna stuff your pumpkin. So you're gonna use the polyfill. You could use something else like fabric or like some old socks or something. That would probably work. So this stuff actually goes a long way. So it looks like a lot, but it actually shrinks down quite a bit. So you're gonna wanna stuff generously. Okay, so now your yarn's on the bottom, right? So you're gonna stick it through the middle and then you're just gonna squeeze it and then you'll see your your darning needle pop out on the other end and then you're just gonna pull it. All right, so now you're going to do the same thing on the top as you did on the bottom. So you're just gonna weave your ends in and out. So in. So you're just gonna do the exact same thing, in and out, all the way around, and we'll meet back here when you're done. So I've woven my yarn tail in and out, as I did on the bottom, and now I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm just gonna pull it shut. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna pull this completely shut. So you're gonna do the same thing as you did on the bottom, and you're just gonna kind of go underneath a couple of stitches here just to try and close up that and make it nice and secure. All right, now to make the ridges, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your long stranding, so this is the part that we needed this tail to be so long for. So you're gonna go, actually I'm gonna go right down where my seam is just to kind of hide that. So you're gonna take it from here and you're gonna bring it down to the middle of the seam on the bottom, and you're gonna poke your yarn or your darning needle through and then bring it back up. Oop, try to get it right through the middle. And if you squeeze the pumpkin down, then it'll be easier to pull your needle out. You're gonna pull that all the way. And then you see here, I've just pulled it and it hasn't done much, but I'm gonna pull it a little bit tighter and it's gonna create the ridge. So then I'm gonna go around this way and go down through the middle of the bottom and up through the middle of the top. And go underneath, pull it up through the middle of the top, pull it tight, and then I'm gonna go down this way and do the same thing. So this part, you can get creative. So if you want it to just kind of have 4, you can do that. Personally, I like it with more ridges, so I'm gonna go between each kind of quarter that I've made. Pulling it tight. And I'm just kind of bringing it up to the opposite end. So as you can see here, I came up from over here, just going on the opposite end. Just makes it a little bit easier. And there you have it. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of just, doesn't even matter where you go, you're just gonna go in and out. This just secures your end. So I'm actually gonna go down the middle a couple of times. Oop, oh, what's flying? Come on, there we go. And then, yeah, so this is just to hide your end and it keeps it nice and secure. So like I'm gonna go in and just bring it out over here. Now this is actually where you don't want to pull too tight because it'll create little kind of indentations, and just make sure that you're going in right where the yarn came out. So yeah, this kind of hides your yarn in the polyfill and it stays put. That's what I do in all my amigurumi animals and characters. So yeah, you're just gonna go in and out, I don't know, like maybe 5 times. Once you're done that part, you just kind of pull it through. So then what you're gonna do is you are gonna pull this one just a little bit and you're gonna snip it. And there you go. You have your pumpkin. So up next, I'm gonna show you how to make a really simple leaf. Okay, so now I'm gonna teach you guys how to make a small leaf to attach to your little pumpkin. You're just gonna take a different color yarn. I'm using like a lighter kind of beigey taupe color, but you can use any color. You can even use the same color if you want. Whatever you like. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is you're gonna make your slip knot. So as we remember, you're holding your yarn, you're gonna wrap it around your fingers to make an X. You're gonna take the same crochet hook, your 5mm, you're gonna go under here, pull this up and around, and there we go. Okay, so now that you've got your slip stitch, you're gonna do 5 chains. So if you remember your chain, you yarn over, and then you pull through your loop here. You're gonna do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're gonna do a couple of different stitches. They're really easy, I promise. So we're always going into the second chain from the hook. So here's the first one. You're gonna go into the second one here. So we're gonna do a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, you're just gonna insert your hook into that second loop. You're gonna yarn over, pull through. You've got 2 loops on your hook. You're not yarning over, instead you're just gonna pull, you're kind of keeping this one on the hook and you're yarning through that first one. Okay, I'll show you that again because it can be a little tricky. So into the second chain from the hook, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're just going through that first loop. So now into the next chain, you're going to do a single crochet. To do a single crochet, you go into your chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Oops. Pull up a loop. You've got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through. You're going to do another single crochet. So you're going to insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. Okay? Now you're going to do 4 half double crochets into your last stitch. So the half double crochet, you yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through. And you're going to do 4 in the same chain. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that kind of creates the round part of the leaf. So now you've got your work turned, and you're going to finish it off with 2 single crochets and then a slip stitch. It is a little bit hard to see where the stitches are, but if you can see, you kind of have the loops here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you've got your 4 half double crochets in your last one. So now you're going to do a single crochet into here. So the single crochet again, you insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Okay, and then you're going to do another single crochet. And then to finish off, you're going to do your slip stitch. So to do the slip stitch, you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're pulling through that loop. So you're just going to snip your end, and then you're just going to pull that through, and there you have a little leaf. Just to kind of secure that and finish off, I'm just going to yarn, sew that through. That's just to secure the ends here. So you're just going through a couple of stitches, pull through, and then you can just snip your ends. So there you have a little leaf. Now on my original pumpkin, I did make 2. You can make 3, 4, you can make 1, none, however many you want. To do my cinnamon stick, I actually broke my cinnamon stick because it's way too big and it looks kind of weird. Freedom to be creative here. So I'm just snapping it. Oh, that didn't work very well. There. That way I've got a shorter piece. All right, so all I did with my hot glue is I put a little dab in the center where I stuck my cinnamon stick, put another little dab here and here to secure my bow and my leaf, and there you have it, a cute little pumpkin. So as you can see, it's pretty fun. You can get creative and use different colors of yarn. If you wanted to make different sizes, all you would do is you could add more stitches to your beginning chain, and then add more rows. That would just make it wider and longer. You could use chunky yarn. If you did use chunky yarn, just make sure that you're following the hook recommendation, the yarn label, and then again, you would definitely want to add more rows and chains. And yeah, you can get creative and use different things for the stem. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and yeah, I hope you had fun. Thanks for joining.